Hey guys, how you doing? And welcome back to another video, another reflection. So in today's second reading, Saint James proposes a interesting question. And so he says, those conflicts and disputes among you, where do they come from? And so when we listen to this question, those conflicts and disputes among you, where do they come from? Notice that Saint James, and addressing these conflicts, he's not saying, how do you get rid of that conflict? But he's saying, where do they come from? So in other words, he's asking, what is the root cause for the conflicts that are taking place? And so a lot of us, in our lives, we go through, we may have experienced something quite traumatic or something quite difficult. And sometimes when we don't address those difficulties, or when we don't treat the traumatic experiences that we have gone through, it leads to other problems, it leads to more hurt. And then that traumatic experience that you have gone through then becomes the root cause for the other negative, difficult experiences that you may experience in the future. And so it's so important that when it comes to treating problems that we have in our lives, it is no good to just touch on the surface, but we must also go dig deep and look at what the root cause for the problems that we have is. It's once we take the root off, heal the root or kill off the root, then can we receive healing on the surface as well. And for example, like my parents, right? So they are garden enthusiasts, and when they are in the garden, sometimes we have really bad plants, that grow and that kind of choke and kill the other plants, like the other vegetables and things. And so when they clear out these bad plants, they don't just kill the plant, but what they do is that they dig deep and take the root out and then throw it away, and so that plant won't grow again. Likewise, with our problems that we experience in life, with the challenges that we experience, the traumatic experiences that we have gone through, if we do not treat that, if we just polish it off in the surface, that traumatic experience or the feelings, the emotion that you've experienced from that trauma, it's not going to just wipe away. It may temporarily grow, but like a bad plant in which the root hasn't been killed, it will just come back again. And so we need to really dig deep and take that root out. I remember once I went to a retreat, and in this retreat, the priest told me a story. And so the story goes like this. There was once a young girl, and this young girl, when she was a child, she was neglected of the love that a child should experience. And so as she grew older, she was just continuously seeking this love that she missed out on as a child. And so she'll go through loads of different relationships, and each of these relationships, all it gave her was more heartbreak and more pain. And so when one day she went to a retreat, and in this retreat she realized that she needed healing. But it wasn't the healing of the pain that she received from the relationships that she needed first, but it was in fact she needed healing from her childhood, because her childhood experiences was what was the root cause of the pain that she had experienced in those relationships. And so once she had received that healing in her childhood, once she had welcomed Jesus into her childhood, she then received healing at her present pain at the time, which was those relationships or those broken relationships. After inviting Jesus into her childhood, she then received healing from Jesus in her situation with those broken relationships. And so, my dear friends, Jesus is the healing remedy for the root cause of our problems, of our heartbreaks, or of our trauma. And in today's gospel, Jesus says something that's so relevant for all of us. He says, whoever welcomes me welcomes one who sent me. So in other words, whoever welcomes Jesus welcomes God the Father. And with God the Father comes the love of the Trinity. So, and this love of the Trinity is the healing remedy for the root cause of our problems, the root cause of our emotions, the root cause of our bad experiences. And believe me, when you welcome Jesus into a childhood experience, or when you welcome Jesus into the root cause of a problem, it will bring pain, because it's like you pour disinfectant into an open wound. You know, it's a necessary thing to do so the wound doesn't get affected, but it's so painful. But that pain is a necessary pain to go through to make sure that you're safe with that wound. Likewise, when you welcome Jesus into your childhood, into your teenage years, into your adult years, you know, your young adult years, it will cause pain because you're opening a wound that was so painful already in the past. And once you open that wound, you bring Jesus, that great doctor, to heal that wound. After that bitter experience of, you know, that pain of opening that wound, you would then feel relief. You would then feel healed. And that's what the most important thing is, that you are healed from that agony, from the trauma, from the bad childhood experiences, from the root cause of all the hurt that you are going through now. And so, my dear friends, I guess my message for you today is this: if you are going through something difficult, if you need healing from a childhood experience, and if that childhood experience is still haunting you now, or if it's an experience in the past in general that is haunting you now still, that you still haven't recovered from, that still hurts you, welcome Jesus into that experience, into that moment of rejection, if that's what you experienced, or into that moment of neglect, and let Jesus bring that healing into your life. And then you will be relieved. Then you will receive that healing, and then you will be free to move on. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Hope you have a great week ahead. God bless.